Namaste, yogis. We're talking about getting to the why in your business. The why, the WHY, is really important because it's what takes you into a connecting ability. It takes you and allows you from where you've gone. So your old self is, gone, you've transformed, you've broken through. And so now you're on the other side of this completely different space. If you want to go back and help the people who are like you have to share that story of what it took you to get to where you were. What was the emotional shift? What was the struggle? What was the challenge physically? What did you feel emotionally? What did you go through spiritually? That's how you get into your why. So when I talk about my why, of why I love to see yoga happening in the world, why I want to see more people of color especially doing yoga, is because when I was diagnosed with lupus and I had debilitating pain, I could not walk some days because my feet were so swollen, my ankles were so swollen, my hands were so swollen, turning a doorknob was painful. And so I started to do research and found out that many women of color dealt with autoimmune challenges. Many women of color were diagnosed with preventable diseases. And when I found out that I could change my life, I could bring yoga into different aspects of my life and create healing for myself, a light bulb went off. Ding, ding, ding. I can do this for people like my grandmother. I can share this with people like my sisters, my mother, like anybody that I tell my why to can immediately know if I'm the person they want to work with, or if it doesn't resonate, they immediately know that I'm not the person that they want to work with. And either way is great, because everyone cannot be your student. Everyone cannot be my student. I do not resonate with teaching a middle-aged man that has been born into privilege and never had to really struggle for anything in his life. How can I really offer something to a person who I don't share certain qualities with? I have not studied that person. That's just not my path. And my why helps me to be tapped in, be in tune with who I want to serve. And when you start to uncover your why, when you're picking out the layers, there may be some things like, okay, well, what's my why? And you think about what's the first experience or the first breakthrough that you had with yoga? What was the first time that you realized that you could change your life? Get into those types of questions. Be asking yourself those types of questions in order to pull out the words that really resonate. So when I talk about my journey, I talk about the physical pain. When I talk about my journey, I talk about doing the research and being appalled that this wasn't unique to me. This is something that was pretty common in my culture, in my community. And that aspect is what allows me not only to be able to connect to my clients, to be able to talk to my students, it allows me to stay tapped in, to stay grounded with where I'm going. When I create something, I think like, okay, well, this seems like a great idea. Is this event, is this, opportunity in alignment with why I'm even doing this work? If somebody offered me something that isn't in alignment with what I'm doing, then I'm okay with turning it down. I'm okay with referring another amazing yoga teacher that has a why that's more tied to the opportunity itself. And that is very freeing. It might seem like, oh, I want to teach yoga to everybody. Everybody needs yoga. And while I agree that everyone can benefit from some aspect of yoga or another, it's not your job to be their teacher. Not everyone loves the color red so much that they literally paint a wall in their house red. However, There are people who really resonate with the red color. And that's okay. That doesn't make blue any less powerful or any less amazing. I can wear red and be in red, and I'm still okay that other people like blue. So, like, be okay with taking out the things that don't directly correlate to your why. You have to think about this. Like, let me give you an example. High heel shoes. High heel shoes are made specifically, now if we talk about just, not talking about any political correctness, specifically when they were originated, back in the day before fluidity was there, they were for women. And not all women wear high heels. Specifically for women that wanted to get a certain amount of height, maybe a certain amount of status. There were these particular things that tie that. And so maybe the person, and I'm actually not familiar with the story, so I'm going to make up a story about why high heels were invented. So let's say my ancient ancestor was the inventor of high heels, and she just felt like, you know, whenever she was in a crowd, she couldn't see over people's heads. And she wanted everybody to see how amazing her calf muscles were. And whenever people looked at her in her high heels, she felt so important that she just knew she had to share this with other people. Other people who wanted to feel important, who wanted to gain some height. Like, you see how we're taking this why and directly correlating it to what has happened. And actually, if you think about high heels, like, I don't wear that shit anymore. But when I wore high heels, there were some things and some associations that I made by using that product. When I use a service, there are associations that I make when I'm using that service. When I ate at McDonald's, it was because it was like, okay, this is cheap. I feel hungry. And so how can I solve this pain with the least amount of cost pain? Win-win, go to the fast food place and get the special menu prices. So it isn't just about the yoga. However, if you are not specific, then you are just teaching yoga because everybody needs yoga. Okay, well, if you were, just let's think about it from you being a student going to an event. If someone said, hey, yoga class on this day at this time, and you might be available, so you think, should I go to this class? And I'll tell you, back in the day before trap yoga was a thing, and I saw an ad for trap yoga online. And I remember specifically because I told my husband, I was like, look at this. She combined trap and yoga. I didn't know who she was. She wasn't even famous in Houston. Like, nobody knew who, Britney was. Nobody knew Trap Yoga Babe, the Britney Trap Yoga Babe. But it was that she combined something that was important to her with something else that was important to her. She wasn't teaching yoga to everybody. She wasn't trying to do jazz and yoga. She wasn't doing all music and yoga. She was specifically doing this music genre with yoga. And she attracted people who never even done yoga before. So many people were brand new yogis in her sessions. And so when you get into your why and you start uncovering that, you might be unconsciously thinking from the idea that I need to go after people who are already practicing yoga. There's only so many people who are already practicing yoga, so I gotta try to teach yoga that they want. No, that's absolutely not what to do. Absolutely not what to do. Think about it. You have teachers that you love, that you go to their classes as much as you can. And unless there's just something that just really speaks to you, like if there was a Afro girl red yoga party, I would be like, oh my gosh, I have to go to this. But if there's like yoga in the park, you see what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference when you connect to your why, when you know what's important to you, why you're here. You're able to really tune in, and it's not about excluding other people. You can have a class for new moms, stressed out new moms who want to come meditate every once a week, whatever the day is. Meditation Monday night, I don't know. But does that mean that you are intentionally telling dads not to come? Maybe not. Maybe they don't feel like it's something for them. You could have period yoga and talk about menstrual cycles. Like, get really, really tuned in, because that is where the change happens. That's where you attract your tribe. And I'm telling you, when you implement this type of stuff, it starts to, like, some of my coaches say, it's the money is in the niche. The money is in the niche. Not just the money, but the impact. The impact. Think about it. When I see someone and I share my message and I look like them, they are going to get so much more out of it than if I was just teaching to, a group of random people who just happened to be in a place at one time because they came for a generic yoga class. So I invite you to practice getting really specific on your why, and that will help you to get deeper into your niching. And we'll talk about niching in an upcoming video. I'm gonna leave you on this, and I'm currently leading the 5-day virtual yoga event challenge. There are still some VIP spaces available, and why I offer VIP is because we have the recordings from day 1 available for you. So if you want to get started and you already missed the first live training, the first implementation lab, that's okay. You do get the recordings when you're a VIP. So I invite you to register. I invite you to sign up. The link is down below in the caption. You know the mission: world peace through inner peace. My name is Alicia, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.